All right, we're live. So welcome back to Dapp University. So today we're going to talk about something that's going to bring more money into the crypto space. And that's really good for all of us right now who are sitting here watching the cryptocurrency prices saying like, hey, who's going to buy this stuff while the price is going down? We need more participants either to come into the space. We need people who are already here to buy more, as we talk about a lot in this channel. I'm going to talk about some new entrants here in a minute. All right, we're going to look at that. We're going to look at a lot of other news that's happened in the space since our live stream yesterday. Again, we do these live streams Monday through Friday on this channel. Just turn on notifications, subscribe to this channel. You'll find out about those whenever we go live. We're going to kind of recap some of the B-word conference from yesterday. I don't know if you all saw that. It was a pretty exciting event in the crypto space, pretty entertaining. And get into all that. We'll look at the prices of cryptocurrencies and a lot more. So if you're new around here, hey, I'm Gregory, and on this channel, I turn you into a blockchain master. So if that's something that you're interested in, then smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm and subscribe to this channel. And if you want to become a blockchain master step-by-step from start to finish, then head on over to dappuniversity.com/bootcamp to get started today. Last but not least, there's lots of scammers down in the comment section below. Just ignore them. Like, I'll never give you my phone number on YouTube or ask you to invest with me. And apparently somebody has like made a fake Instagram about me that's like DMing people, trying to scam them. So just like basically I've sent like 5 private messages from my Dapp University social media accounts like ever online. So I'm probably not DMing you asking you for money or anything like that. So anyways, we got people jumping in the chat here. We got Automatic Beats, Alan, Angel. Welcome. Heathen American Lee, Francis, Kevin, Adrian. Awesome. So we got a lot to talk about today. I really want to jump into the B-word conference that happened yesterday with Elon Musk and Kathy Wood and Jack Dorsey. Lots of other stuff. It's pretty entertaining, pretty crazy, all right? But first I want to talk about this story about big money getting into crypto, okay? Because, as prices have dropped lately, we've talked about this a lot. Like, how does prices of cryptocurrency go up in the first place? Well, it's based on supply and demand economics, all right? So if it's based on supply and demand, the supply side's, it's basically taken care of. So the demand side of things, we either need people who are already here to buy more cryptocurrency, or we need new people to come in and essentially, do the same thing. So we talked about institutional adoption of cryptocurrencies a lot on these live streams. It's been a pretty big theme this year. But one thing I want to talk about now is also family offices, okay? So what is a family office? Well, family office is essentially sort of a one-stop wealth management shop for super high net worth individuals. And yesterday, we actually saw, I think it was yesterday, it's this week, we saw a report come out from Goldman Sachs, okay, investment bank survey. Nearly half of family offices are interested in investing in crypto, okay? So this is big. We talk about, institutions adopting cryptocurrency, how, it only takes a handful of institutions to enter the space and really move the needle in a significant way. People operate on social proof and, people watch what other people like them. They watch the behavior of other people typically who are like them and have the same goals and values of what they do, and then often act in a similar way. It's like a mental shortcut, okay? So if you are a CEO and you have a strong influence over how the funds are spent in your company, and you see another CEO, invest into Bitcoin, you may not just like make a really fast decision and invest in Bitcoin, right? But it's sort of a weight in that direction. Similar type of thing. Ultra high net worth individuals, they talk to one another, like they're aligned with people who have the same value and vision as them. And a lot of them are probably starting to think in the same way about this crypto thing. It can't be ignored, right? So anyways, we have this survey from Goldman Sachs saying that nearly half of them are interested in crypto. And according to the survey, 15% of family offices that the bank does business with are already invested in crypto. So this is an entire new set of people to enter in the crypto space long term that I think is going to be big. Of course, yesterday we talked about by some year in the future, I want to say it was 2026, it was a very, very high percentage of, funds were also getting into crypto, all that type of stuff. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is if you're sitting here trying to figure out how can we get to 100K Bitcoin, how can we get to a 10K Ether, then the catalyst, like I said a lot in these videos these past couple of weeks are here. We have a ton of big technological innovations that are already, starting, but you're talking about who are going to be people come in and actually adopt these things and are interested in actually investing in the cryptocurrencies. And we've pretty clearly identified who those people can be. And so that makes me bullish long-term Of course, in the short term, we don't exactly know what's going to happen with the prices. We'll check on that here in a minute. But the fundamentals are set. Everything's in place for this space to move forward. Could the prices continue to go down for a while? Yeah, it definitely could. But in terms of them getting back to where they were and going beyond that, making new all-time highs, the fundamentals are there. So let me know what y'all think down in the chat section below. So let's get into, before we check on the prices, let's actually look at what happened with the B-word conference yesterday. So let me know what you thought. Did you all watch that? Put it down in the comment section below or the chat. Did you watch the B-word conference? It's pretty awesome. So I'm going to pull up a recap of this, and because I actually watched part of it. I took a little break and streamed it live. So let me pull up a report of it. So the B-Word conference was basically a Bitcoin-centric conference that had a lot of different panels. It was streamed live over the internet yesterday. But there's one panel in particular that everybody was excited about that featured, Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, Kathy Wood from ARK Invest, and of course Elon Musk, the man that crypto. Twitter at least has a love-hate relationship with. If you didn't catch everything that happened earlier this year, Tesla bought $1.5 billion of Bitcoin for the balance sheet. Everybody loved it when that happened. But then, when Elon said some critical things about Bitcoin later, that corresponded with some bad price action for Bitcoin. Of course, Elon's made a lot of comments about Doge. So some pretty interesting things that came to light in the conference yesterday was, we knew that Elon owned Bitcoin, right? Because he's just talked about it. But he did clarify yesterday that he also owns Ethereum, so Ether, and he also owns Doge, no surprise. So the other thing that we found out is that basically SpaceX also holds Bitcoin on their balance sheet. So people speculated about that. I don't think we had clarity on that particular point before, but we do have confirmation that Tesla still has their Bitcoin. SpaceX confirmed owns Bitcoin on their balance sheet. And he did talk in the presentation yesterday about how basically Tesla might resume payments with Bitcoin in the future, because that was one thing that kind of got people upset. Was basically, they started accepting Bitcoin payments for Teslas, and then the energy FUD kind of came out about how Bitcoin is too resource intensive and is bad for the environment. And kind of whatever happened, they got a lot of backlash and they turned off payments for Bitcoin and Tesla. But he was saying as long as there's a good faith effort made to improve this and it actually gets better, then they could see them turning that feature back on, later in time and actually supporting Bitcoin as a payment solution. So those are some of the highlights I think people were really excited about. Of course, I put this on my Twitter yesterday that basically, Elon still has the Midas touch for crypto because, basically whenever he talks about it, like live, either on Twitter or on some sort of appearance, that the prices are very reactive to what he says, either going up or down. I just turned on the 1 minute chart for for Bitcoin and ETH while he was talking, and it was absolutely crazy. I'll pull this on my screen here. Basically, whenever he was talking about ETH, he said that he owned ETH. I mean, this is what the ETH chart did, on the 1 minute, okay? So it got pretty crazy after that. It started going way up and down. The Bitcoin chart was doing the exact same things. Depending on what he was saying, it was going either direction. So I got a pretty good kick out of that while I was watching the stream live. So let me know what y'all think. Did you all watch the stream live? Oh, yeah, the other thing. So he did say he was talking about, his effect on the assets themselves. And, he's kind of got a reputation for, having an impact on the price, depending on what he says. And he was, talking. Here's the thing about it. He speaks very extemporaneously, right? He's not very prepared about what he's going to say. Of course, he's answering questions just as they come to him. And Elon, this guy's super busy, super important. I'm sure he probably, very likely, just jumped on the call. Was probably doing something important before and probably doing something important after, and just had an hour or however long it was carved out, just jumped on, right? So people kind of give him flack for that, but it's okay, he's Elon Musk. He's just kind of doing his thing. But so he's speaking very extemporaneously, kind of just kind of going with the flow. And he said, when he was responding to his impact of on the price, but what he says, he's like, yeah, so I pump, but I don't dump. Okay, and that sort of became the tagline for the day. I pump, but I don't. I may pump, but I don't dump. That's awesome. So let me know what y'all think down in the section below. What else did you think about the B word conference? Yeah, Elon may pump, but he doesn't dump. I thought that was great. Another thing that got people kind of upset yesterday in the Bitcoin community was his sort of justification for why he holds Dogecoin in the first place. Okay, he was basically, he was asked like, hey, what's your deal with Doge? Like, why do you like it so much? And he was kind of talking about this heuristic that he had formulated for himself, kind of like it's 2 steps removed from this heuristic that like the most ironic outcome ends up being the most likely outcome or something like that. Something to that effect. I can't remember exactly how it goes, but he morphed it through 2 different steps into like kind of the fun, I guess like the funniest outcome is the most likely outcome or something like that. But anyways, he's kind of saying that like it's the idea that Doge was the cryptocurrency that was created as a joke against cryptocurrencies in an irreverent way. The craziest outcome would be that it becomes like a supreme cryptocurrency, and that made so many people mad. And I think this is pretty common in crypto, where people get very tribal, they get very dogmatic, and people who violate their values, they just like instantly want to cancel. I see it all the time. Okay. And it's like, it's one of those things where people just don't have a category for that type of thing. When it's, I don't know, you think about cryptocurrency in the first place, like I still can, I mean, I'll be full transparency here. Like I still consider this space like very still early and very experimental, and that we don't exactly know what's going to be 100% successful long term. Okay. For that reason, it's kind of funny for people to get so sure about any one specific thing that they think, oh, well, this is the sure bet. Like, this is totally superior. And if you like this, then you're out of the club. It's kind of ridiculous to me, especially since we're still so early in the game. But let me know what y'all think. So Elon is a joke. That's what somebody says. Yeah, there's pretty mixed opinions on this. Some people are like, hey, we don't need Elon. He was responsible for tanking the price before. We don't want him to say nice things about cryptocurrency. We don't need him. There's lots of animosity. He still has a love-hate relationship, I'll put it that way. All right, let's go ahead and check on the crypto prices. Because we did have a pretty nice recovery yesterday from some of the correction that we've seen before. So anyways, let's just take a look at BTC here yesterday. So, recap, we're still kind of been in this downtrend, making lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows. I mean, a new low here. I saw a nice green candle yesterday. Okay. So some of this definitely corresponded with the B word conference for sure. This could be a thing where people were buying ahead in anticipation of this for sure. Could be that. Could also be natural price recovery. I mean, if you look at the chart yesterday while he was talking or while the conference was happening, there was a clear effect on the price with what was being said at the current time. If you'd like zoom in on the 1-minute chart or the 5-minute chart, whatever. But we look at the daily chart here. We just see a nice big green candle, which is at least encouraging at this level. We're not out of the woods. You know what I mean? We need some time before we can kind of figure out what's going to happen. Are we going to see a trend reversal? Are we going to, resume an uptrend here? Okay. So what are some levels that I would like to see us? Again, I keep saying this over and over again in these streams, but I'll repeat it. The moving average is important to me. Again, I'm not super sophisticated with technical analysis, but I think moving average is important because it's measuring the current price performance of the past history, and we're still below these moving averages. We're using them as resistance, and it'd be great to start using them as support. Now, that could happen. all right, over the next several days, maybe the next week or two, where we start break above these moving averages, and then if the price falls, if the candle bodies, can start bouncing off of this, that's an encouraging sign. Now, it could take some time for that to materialize and that pattern to actually hold, but that's what I would like to watch out for. We get too bullish long term on what's going to happen with the Bitcoin price. Okay. But I did see this analysis come up yesterday that I want to bring up that I thought is pretty good, from Raoul Paul. So I talked about him quite a bit on this channel. So he's been pretty instrumental in this space in helping create models that value cryptocurrency networks and what we can think about the price. He's got some pretty famous price predictions for Ether and Bitcoin. Famously calling for a $20,000 ETH price prediction for this cycle. And I think based on his latest statements that I've seen, I think he thinks that we're still in a up cycle. So let's actually look at what he's saying here. So he did some analysis on the price charts. So he's saying, I know crypto charts, he said, I know crypto chart takes are to a penny these days. Basically everybody's got one. And so mine are equally worthless. But we all know that log charts are the right way to look at these. So basically, if you look at your chart like this, you want it to be on log scale, not linear scale, because log helps you really see the magnitude of the move. Because if you turn it on linear, then basically it's hard to reason about quite as well. So Bitcoin seems to have negated the head and shoulders pattern. So what he's talking about is basically a head and shoulders on the price chart would look like, let me just zoom in, a shoulder, a head, and if we could have formed a second shoulder here, the price could have gone down. It's usually a bearish trend. So he's saying it didn't do that. On-chain data suggests huge accumulation and better market dynamics. So if we look at on-chain data, we probably see people accumulating Bitcoin in their wallets. So Metcalfe's law valuations are increasing. So basically, prices are responding to the number of active users on the network. And the time and price have now met the log trend. So this is the important part that I want to talk about. So we can look at that here in a second, but ETH has also reached a log trend in time and price and looks like it's forming a wedge. All right, and then let's see, he can't get bearish with the log chart regression nor Metcalfe's law terms. So what he's saying is there's actually a trend line here that's important that we're meeting it now, and we could see this kind of be... This is a moment of truth to see if we actually keep pace with that trend, but he's bullish, or at least he says he can't be bearish right now when these other metrics look good. So let's just take a look at what he's talking about here. He's saying basically if you put your chart in log terms and you look at he's calling this to be the beginning of the cycle here, or maybe just this to be the point to start measuring from. If you draw a line in the chart in log terms, then basically you're kind of at that level right here where use as a start, it draws through this line and then goes through this line. Okay. So what he's saying is this is a pretty critical level. That we could very well bounce off of this, which it kind of looks like we are if you zoom out here. And this is definitely to watch out for, and it can't be bearish until we kind of see what happens here. So I think this is a pretty good take. Again, I'm not super sophisticated in TA, so this would not be the kind of thing that I came up with myself. But I think it looks plausible, and so we'll wait and see what happens. So what do y'all think down in the comment section below? Oh, yeah. So somebody says, someone was looking at the Ashton Kutcher and Vitalik video. I thought that was pretty good. So let's take a look here. So Ashton Kutcher video, this is pretty clever. I don't think I can play it totally on my screen right now. Let me just try. I have to. My microphone's not quite set up for this properly. I'm gonna give it a try. We'll see if it might break here. Just try from the beginning.
Hey, babe.
Yeah.
What's crypto?
It's digital currency. What's the next one?
Hey, babe.
Yeah.
What's blockchain?
It's like what information stored on. So like, it's, what information is stored on.
Hey, babe.
Yeah.
What's decentralization?
Oh, there's not one person in charge of anything. So it's everybody keeps everybody else in check. So there's not one big like unit or entity to uphold everybody to the same code. It's the people holding each other responsible.
Hey, babe.
Yeah.
What's Ethereum?
So Ethereum is a general purpose blockchain. So unlike other blockchains like Bitcoin, for example, that are just designed around one application.
Anyways, you have to watch the rest of it. That's sort of the idea. It's pretty clever. I saw this yesterday. I absolutely cracked up because it's perfect, right? It's just like you don't even expect it, and then Vitalik just kind of like comes out of nowhere and starts like, explaining what ETH is. That's awesome. It's awesome. So you can go find it on my Twitter if you want to see the full video. So it looks like Ashton Kutcher has his NFT project here, Stoner Cats TV. So if you're watching the video, if you happen to come across this, hey, let's come on the channel and get and talk about it. It's awesome. All right, old dirty bags. I'm gonna block you here, buddy. Okay, here. Somebody says Vitalik was a lucky guy. Hey, babe, what's Vitalik? That's awesome. So let me know if you got any questions here in the chat. I'll answer some of these. I got a couple of things that we can talk about since the stream yesterday, but I figure I'd get some of your questions here. Okay, that's a good question here. So can you talk about NFT provenance and how a customer knows they're buying the original piece of digital art rather than a copycat NFT? Does the artist tweet the NFT address as verification mechanism? So that's a pretty good question. So at the end of the day, you really want to make sure that the contract address for the NFT itself is the original. That's how you prove the validity because the smart contract address is unique. Of course, you could fork the code for the smart contract and clone it, but if it has a different address, it's not the same NFT. You could take the pictures, you could save them to your desktop, but as long as you're only using the correct smart contract address, that's the key. So there are different ways to do this. I think the easiest way to do it is just what you're talking about, basically where the artist advertises the address as the validity of the NFT. This is where you kind of rely upon some trust, right? You have to trust that this is the artist's actual social media handle, right? You have to trust that this is the artist's actual website. But if you have enough, heuristics in place, it's good enough, right? You just have to have enough data points to trust that that's the actual address for the NFT itself. Someone says they learn best when things are funny. Yeah, totally. So this is a group of Ethereum miners is planning to protest against the protocol's EIP 1559 upgrade. Yeah, we've seen kind of rumors of this floating around for a while. I don't know. I'm not worried about it. Someone says, "Where's my living room gone?" No, I'm still here. It's actually the same room. I just have some soundproofing around me. That was my office before. Still in the same room. I just have sound protection. I have a question. What exactly does a blockchain developer do? Create smart contracts. There's lots of different things they do. That's definitely one of the most in-demand skills right now is to create smart contracts because of the backbone of a lot of the blockchain-based applications that are so hot right now, decentralized finance, tokens, NFTs, all these collectibles, all this type of stuff. So that's one of the most high-value skills. You can do other things. You can work on blockchain infrastructure with core development. That's probably harder to get into for most beginners, I would say. You could do it, but I think most people like working with something where they can kind of see the end result. And I think that's why I think application development is probably better for beginners. Somebody says, I'm having troubles with 0x. I often find orders at a rate of 1 WETH for 0.00001 USDC. An explanation. So I haven't personally seen that happen. So could you describe how transactions propagate across the ETH network? Wouldn't each miner be working on a different set of transactions given the distributed nature of blockchain? So basically how that happens is, the transactions go into a mempool and then are processed that way. And then basically what happens is we have a consensus mechanism that includes these transactions into blocks, okay? And that consensus mechanism actually takes a round trip through the entire blockchain. And you have the miner who basically, wins the cryptographic puzzle to mine the nonce and actually include the transaction into the blockchain. So, that's basically how it works from a high level. Please talk about Immutable X Ethereum Layer 2. So yeah, this is a Layer 2 that's kind of purpose built for NFTs. That's my understanding of it. We can actually take a look on the chart here. I haven't personally used it, but I do know that it's a fast Layer 2. That one of the main use cases, at least that I'm seeing right now, is for NFTs. It's basically born out of Gods Unchained. All right, everybody. That's all I got for today. As always, smash that like button down below for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. That really helps these videos out so the more people can learn about blockchain. If you're as fascinated with this technology as I am, you want to get your hands dirty, how can you get started today? You can go to my YouTube homepage. You can find my free courses there. I like Udemy courses, but they're totally free. And if you like those and you want to take the next step, or hey, maybe you want to take a master shortcut entirely, I should become a blockchain master step-by-step from start to finish over at dappuniversity.com/bootcamp. You don't have to be an expert to get started today. I've helped people with zero coding experience become real-world blockchain developers in a matter of months. So that's all I've got. That's the next time. Thanks for